Siddharth Luthra, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, Rohit Kochhar, well-known lawyer and Chairman and Managing Partner of Kochhar and Company, Vikram Singh, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, Bachi Karkaria, author and columnist, Anu Ranjan, President of the Indian Television Academy, Shailendra Singh, Joint Managing Director of Percept, and Anil Dharkar completes our panel right now. Question number one, this whole theory that's been going around today, let's start with you, Rohit Kochhar. They are now saying that she's confessed, I did it. What does I did it mean? What is a confession of all which you know I did it? What does it mean? It amounts to nothing. It's not been made under section 164 of the CRPC. It's not admissible. She can easily retract it. It's superficial. It's as superficial as any confession can be. These three words do not substitute for shedding light on the motive and modus operandi in this case. What does this confession angle really amount to? Rohit Kochhar, let's start with you and let's free to come into the debate after that. Rohit.
Arnab, I agree with what you just spoke. In fact, under the Indian Evidence Act, a statement or a confession made by an accused while in custody in a police station is not per se admissible as evidence in a court of law.
So why are they doing this?
However, the Indian Evidence Act also says that if pursuant to a statement certain disclosures are made which are credible and certain evidence is found pursuant to the disclosures made, then that part of the statement can be taken as admissible in a court of law.
Now, Rohit, amounts to nothing exactly. The police has not managed to get anything on this. I mean, this whole confession, I'm sorry to say, is a one big, gigantic red herring. It takes the focus away from the failures of the police. The fact is there is still no material evidence to nail Indrani. It takes the focus away from the fact that the police is yet to find a motive for the crime 1 week after it first coming into public domain. Shailendra, you wanted to come in.
Yeah, I just want to ask a quick question, just in a layman's language. I mean, when she was making the confession, what stopped them from getting the magistrate there to possibly record and, be there to witness it? I mean, that was pretty simple. We knew that it's going to happen.
Okay, Siddharth Luthra, let's take that. Siddharth Luthra.
I think we need to understand everybody in custody has the right to silence. Now the police interrogate a person, they elicit according to them certain information, and that's recorded in the case diary. Even a statement of an accused can't be recorded while in custody. Now the lady has to be willing to get a confession, a statement before a magistrate. She will go to the magistrate, she'll have to be sent out of police custody to judicial custody. The magistrate will have to be satisfied that the magistrate will have to be satisfied that she is giving it voluntarily, and then only can a confession be recorded. It's not as simple as it sounds.
No, exactly. I take your point, Siddharth, but we go back to the central point. What have we achieved? 11 days of investigation, personally being looked at by Rakesh Maria, the Mumbai Police Commissioner, and you have all three husbands inside that police station today. All three. There's Sanjeev Khanna, husband number 2, Siddharth Das, husband number 1, Peter Mukherjee, husband number 3, 3 husbands, the wife, the alleged accomplice and driver, all locked up inside with 4 interrogators, and the national media. Let's take a look at the situation there outside the car police station. The whole country is looking at what's happening in that police station. We've got no headway. Siddharth, we've got no headway, zero headway.
Arnab.
Yes.
Arnab, I would not paint a picture as pessimistic as what you make it out to be, because with every passing day, there has been fresh evidence.
What fresh evidence?
There are new discoveries.
What fresh evidence?
Well, let's start with one. The person who sent out the emails on behalf of Sheena Bora. He's been identified. His statement, they say, has been recorded by the police. The biological parents of the victim, they say, has now come forward.
No, not come forward. Found by the media. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, Rohit. Found by the media in an exasperating manner, brought to Mumbai today. Let us not give the Mumbai police landed there exactly 1 day after it was found by the media. The point is on all of this.
Arnab, you're making a valid point.
Yes, Siddharth.
Arnab, I just want to say, I think you're making a very valid point. Not only 11 days later do we seem to have nothing in this investigation. My concern is if you had nothing, why arrest? Why take a person through this trauma, right or wrong, have the evidence and then act? So I really believe that this is a case where the police may have jumped the gun. And it's a matter of serious concern whether this should be allowed to happen.
No, and okay, two hands go up there. Vikram Singh wants to come in. Bachi Karkaria as well. I want to point one more thing, Bachi. What I don't understand here is one very puzzling fact. There is a person called Rakesh Maria, Mumbai Police Commissioner. For the first 4 or 5 days of the case, seems to declare, I have solved this whodunit. I've almost found the motive. I just need to fly down one guy. I'll come and tell you in the next couple of days exactly what happened. Now where's Rakesh Maria? He stopped going to the police station, and that's Peter Mukherjee, who does the big namaste to the media, is avoiding all questions out there. 2 days the man has been questioned. Rakesh Maria has refused to interrogate Peter Mukherjee with the same alacrity that he's talked to everyone else. If there's one person who can actually match all the statements, it's Rakesh Maria. Why hasn't he spoken to Peter Mukherjee?
One short point. No. I think the cops did not understand that how complicated this case is.
No, I don't buy.
Second point.
No, cops did not understand.
From day one till now, I'm not understanding.
Cops did not understand.
Why is the motive not the focus at any point in time?
Of course.
Because I think everything goes top down.
Of course.
If we are able to identify the motive.
Bachi.
I don't know how we can make these sweeping statements and say, the motive was the main thing. Why are they not following it? How can we say that? And the point is that when you say that the police has jumped the gun, has it been because of this whole media hyperventilation that is happening?
What is hyperventilation about?
Of course, there's a lot of hyperventilation.
What's the media hyperventilation? I'm sorry. I take offense to that.
There's no reason for the cops to give a ball-to-ball sort of a line-up to the media or anybody else for that matter. So I agree with you that the cops are doing a tremendous job.
For one second.
There are some serious questions.
One second. Just one minute. Let me respond to that comment about the media hyperventilation by saying that much to the contrary, Bachi, and you won't like what I say, but the selective discomfort. No, one second. The selective discomfort of those who I call the pseudo-elite. The selective discomfort of the pseudo-elite.
Very absurdly personal in this.
No, not about you.
Whoever
the selective discomfort of the pseudo-elite with the media focus in this case.
The elite is salivating as much as the non.
There's nothing to salivate about. It's a major. It's a major crime.
That I don't think
it's a major crime.
It's a major crime, but unfortunately, the crime has become this great. Object of salivation.
What is the object of salivation? How does it become object of salivation?
First, the police will have to find all their motives, their evidence, and yes, I agree with the one point you have made.
Isn't this the same response that one section? No, isn't this the same response? Sorry, Bachi, one second. Isn't this the same response that a section of the pseudo-elite put in the context of Sunanda Pushkar? There was no conjecture then. 1 second. In the Sheena murder case, I want to place it on record out here. In the Sheena murder case, it was the media that got in touch with Peter, not once, but twice, and pointed out to the inconsistencies in his narrative, not the police. A, that's not called hyperventilation, Bachi. B, it was the media that tracked down the first husband, Siddharth Das. That's not hyperventilation. That's investigative reporting. And interviewed him not once but twice and pointed out to the inconsistencies in his narrative as well. We'd be happy to have the police do that, but you can't say that when the media does it, that's hyperventilation. Thirdly, it was the media, Bachi, which pointed out the focus on the financial angle by pointing out the SFIO's serious frauds investigation office report and the alleged irregularities in the report that drew attention to the sale of INX Media. Now, that's not hyperventilation, but I can understand, Bachi, if it makes one section very uncomfortable. I wonder why. I wonder why. I seriously wonder why. Anil, please, go ahead. I'm willing to debate.
I think, Arnab, you have to admit one or two things here, which is that in defense of the police, this case.
So why are we? Why are we at pains to defend the police?
Let me have my say. I'm not attacking the media. I'm not attacking the police. I'm taking.
You're not attacking.
No. That's all right. Please continue. Go by all means. Attack who you want.
I'm not attacking you by any means. I've been on this show many times.
Sure. Go ahead.
And I've said earlier that at one stage the police had brought this investigation to a particular point, and it had done that very well.
Which point? I don't know which point.
No, after that.
I don't know which point.
The point was when they actually arrested Indrani and the driver.
Okay.
Until then, the media was not in the picture at all.
Right.
After that, the media has been always one step ahead.
Right.
And I've said that before, and I'm saying it again.
Yeah. Is it a bad thing?
No.
Is it a bad thing?
Good, not bad. Let's be objective about it. The other thing I said, and I will repeat, is that the police seems overstretched by the complexity. Complexity.
Oh, please, Mr.
Complexity of this case.
Complex.
the case is far more
may I ask you one question, Mr. Dharkar? You tell me one question. Mr. Dharkar.
A simple murder case.
Mr. Dharkar.
There is a huge amount of money involved. Therefore, the motivation of the money trail has not been found.
Yeah, but then why was there a hurry to call off the case a few days back? My basic question is, why does it appear, and let me make a comment, it appears to me that the police is overstretched in high profile cases and the police messes up in high profile cases, and then when the media asks the question, one section goes ahead and says, oh, why the media is asking too many questions. For example, the same question was asked in the context of Sunanda Pushkar. Questions that the media asked on day one about the nature of the Sunanda Pushkar case were all proven later when the final autopsy report raised the same questions, right? No questions were asked at that point of time in the Sunanda Pushkar case about whether the cause of the death was poisoning, the unexprayed Alprax that was found in that case, the presence of lidocaine in the chemical in Sunanda Pushkar's apparel, the injury marks on her body, the fact that all the injury marks on Sunanda Pushkar were caused by blunt force, that there was an injury which seemed like an injection on her body. All these are they not? No, if these commonsensical questions are there, these questions should be asked by the police. But Mr. Vikram Singh, now if the police forgets asking these simple questions when the media asks it, then I think that's not hyperventilation. That's basics of following an investigation.
Arnab, I would say
Vikram Singh, I'm coming to you, Rohit. Vikram Singh.
Arnab, it would seem that the police are not asking these questions, but the fact remains the police are asking incisive questions, pertinent questions, relevant questions. You may recall 3 days ago, we were discussing the psychological advantage of an accused being in jail on bail and in police custody. Very rightly so. The main accused has buckled down. And to the credit, I find the sweeping generalizations made against the police to be amusing, to say the least. And investigation, hardcore investigation, is way and world apart from kite flying. It may appear to be as simple as 2 + 2 = 4, but it is neither pedestrian nor as simple as that.
When the police said it had found the motive on the 27th, what was it doing? Kite flying or something else?
It wasn't.
Was it
I
kite flying?
presume, I believe, I understand, I may have come to a conclusion. Look, there can be
red
herrings, it can be a digression, it can even be a deliberate plan.
With human liberty.
And at the same time, let us talk of confessions. Let us come to confessions. Section 161, recording by the police. 164 by the magistrate. If it is not by the magistrate, the next step is by the magistrate.
Mr. Vikram Singh,
how reluctantly these people have come out with their versions.
Mr. Vikram Singh, suppose she retracts tomorrow. She can retract 164 also tomorrow.
Let me tell you with some investigation in my experience.
Indrani says the police beat me up in the police station. They were not giving me food. They threatened to poison me. And I had to say I did it.
It does not happen for the first time.
It has happened all the time.
My investigation, my experience, and there are people.
No, but then
and
you
if
have
there's
to...
any
No, but 1 second.
investigator, he builds up a relationship. On the 10th day,
sir, please,
sir,
the media is not so unaware of the fact. She can turn around and say that was a confession under duress. It amounts to nothing.
But the
Where
first
is the material evidence?
Is 161. The next step is 164.
On the media.
And
No, it's not about the media. I'm not even discussing the media issue right now.
You're talking about media versus the police. It is not media versus the police.
It's certainly not media versus the police.
Correct. It's not anybody versus anybody. It's only a matter of loud thinking and discussion.
What a lot of people think is that in the national perspective, is this the most important thing that is happening in the country?
Right.
This is where it's a question of balance. What the media... No, let me finish.
Mr. Dharkar, let's not get into one long discussion on what is important or not important.
It is not a long discussion. It's a short discussion,
Mr. Dharkar,
which is that the media is doing a great job.
Yeah.
But now,
one second, Mr. Dharkar. I know, 1 second. I'll go back into the other issue of the selective discomfort.
has been murdered. Before that, Dabolkar was murdered. Pansare was murdered. These are absolutely cases of national importance. Why is the media not going after that?
The media has reported all that. This is not a debate on the media, but I want to go into the selective discomfort of a certain pseudo elite.
There is no selective discomfort.
I find today.
Then you're going to be a very weird territory. One clinic in Bhubaneswar in 12 days lost the lives of 54 infants. I mean, where are you going to go with that discussion? But I think what Arnav is trying to make a point is that the investigative side of the journalism is actually contributing to the entire process.
I think we're all. I think that's the point. I think we're all. No, Bachi.
Let's get out of this.
Bachi. I'm on the.
No, I'm getting out of this question and saying, is your question, what are we debating today?
Why did you say hyperventilate?
Why did I? Absolutely.
Yes, that has caused this whole...
No, let's not trivialize this.
Let's not joke about this.
The
question here is that, are we talking of the ineptitude of the cops, which I think a lot of people will buy? Or are you raising this question that they're actually being devious? They actually know something that they're not, they're hiding. And now those are two very different things.
I think what you're saying is that the media is only hurrying up this whole process. Basically, like you said first, we found the husband, we found the rest of the family members, and they couldn't do it. It could have exaggerated and gone into another 10, 15 days.
No, I'm not. The point I'm making is actually much simpler. The point I'm making is that in cases such as this, my observation is, and you can disagree with me as much if you want, my observation is, it's all right if the media skims the surface. So if you have a media which takes Rakesh Maria at face value on the 27th, and says this is some kind of bizarre urban honor killing, which happened because, Indrani and Peter disapproved of the relationship between Sheena and Rahul, then that can be digested, taken at face value, because it makes no one uncomfortable, and it just can be blamed upon Indrani, and that's it, close the story, let's move on. I find, and my point is this, take it well, don't take it otherwise, whether Arushi, or in the case of Sunanda Pushkar, right? Or in the case of,
Arushi, where clearly and patently the media overstepped.
Bachi, one second. Bachi, don't be so sure of that. Don't be so sure of that. The point,
why would they give benefit out to the cops? How will he survive if you don't trust the cops?
The question is this, please. Just bear with me. In all cases, if you consider the case of the Arushi murder case, why is it that when one section of the media who terms the Talwars to be guilty is slammed for interfering with justice, whereas those who are announcing the Talwars to be innocent are not charged of the same interference? When the section of the media, and just hear me out clearly on this, is shouting over the roof at the Talwar's innocence, why didn't this section also come out in support of the domestic help too as aggressively? What does it mean? Does it only mean that one section of the media is supporting the Talwars only because they belong to a quote-unquote respectable strata of society? And another point we need to make, and let's be very clear about it. Why are you making this a class war? Well, you need to, because I am not going to be squeamish about this. My point is on Vikram Singh. You may say no. The fact of the matter is, when the media was campaigning for Ruchika Girotra or Jessica Lal, why did nobody call it a lynch mob at that point of time? Everyone pronounced at that point of time Rathore and Manu Sharma guilty. Why were no questions raised then? Isn't it a fact? That extreme interest in this case and media coverage is relentless. Now, even in the United States, and let's look at international examples, because I want to settle this ridiculous argument over hyperventilation once and for all. The fact is that in the US, like the O.J. Simpson trial, or the disappearance, as we all know, of Madeleine McCann in the UK, was in the spotlight with speculation and conjecture running wild, and there was interest on the story. The US media took sides, if I may say so, in the O.J. Simpson trial, and yet he was declared innocent. In the high-profile case of Madeleine McCann, the parents were even considered suspects. Now, what I'm saying here is this case is more worrying than O.J. Simpson or Madeleine McCann, because there is a lot more in this case. And now let's go back to the basic argument. Why did a man called Peter Mukherjee push the Rahul Sheena theory? Why did he push the Rahul Sheena theory? And why did it appear that the Mumbai police bought that theory?
Why?
Can anyone tell me that? Why did they? Let's get Vikram Singh on.
Why is this case so important?
Let's get Vikram Singh on. Let's get Vikram Singh on. Vikram Singh.
Three very quick points.
Going back to the case.
Three very quick points.
Yes, please.
You mentioned Arushi murder case.
Yeah.
A section of the media, and I was at the receiving end, therefore I have a right to say one sentence, that a section of the media was working as PR managers of the Talwars, but to no effect. Likewise, in this case, a section of responsible media including yours, has acted as force multiplier. Correct. It was impossible for any police force in this country to have access and simultaneously question and go to the residences at all the places simultaneously, which has happened. And that, in fact, has been a force multiplier for the Mumbai police.
Come back to this case, sir. Why was Peter Mukherjee pushing the Rahul Sheena theory?
I just need to say
why was Peter Mukherjee pushing the Rahul Sheena theory? Which is falling flat now.
Police off track, off trail.
And the police was
not necessarily.
And the police went off track. Sir, you actually believe that?
I would certainly
You believe the police went off track because Peter Mukherjee put them off track?
I said Peter Mukherjee tried to do that. It's not that the police...
Sir, this is a bizarre... Sir, this is a big...
Hook, line and sinker. Sir, this did not swallow the story. Every accused comes out with a story.
I watched your interview with Peter.
Okay, go ahead, Rahul. Yes, Mr. Kochhar. Rohit Kochhar, go ahead. You watch the interview. Go ahead.
Arnab, I was saying that I don't think Peter had any vested interest when he made the statements that he did in the interview with you. I watched that interview very carefully, and to be honest, I thought Peter was being truthful.
Oh my God! No, one second. Oh, please, Mr. Rohit Kochhar, I can take you up on that. Okay.
This is amazing, Arnab.
That's my opinion.
Vikram Singh.
You can't
Arnab,
expressing my opinion.
In fact, it was the perfect exercise.
Because it varies
Your interview
with
with Peter
somebody
Mukherjee was an exercise in an MRI and a CT scan of an accused by the media on television for the people. It was a perfect case in which he came out and made so many mistakes that will be the last nail in his coffin.
Okay, Shailendra Singh, go ahead.
Mr. Singh, just a short point.
Okay, Shailendra Singh.
I beg to differ with that statement. I think it's
Rohit Kochhar.
Rohit a little too far-fetched.
I just have a short point to make to Mr. Kochhar and Mr. Singh. Would you say in your experience of such sort of crimes, is this a really organized crime, or this is a completely disorganized crime? Because everybody seems to have a point of view, but I personally believe that the entire nation is confused on every day
the way this crime unfolds. So with your
crime
syndicate or organized crime, yes, I will tell you, organized crime has a different definition. And this is crime. It has nothing to do with crime syndicates. It is a well thought of, premeditated, cold-blooded murder. Law, bell, damn, science, mercy operating, and somebody has the remote control in his
hand. That's the point. That's the point. And by the way, Rohit,
then Mr. Singh would say that Peter obviously was privy to this whole thing. I think, if it's so
absolutely
well organized,
he was privy to the whole thing and controlling with a remote control.
Either he was
Arnab, I complimented you earlier for your great interview with Peter.
Right.
But my personal view is, and I stand by it, I do believe that the man was speaking the truth. I feel sorry for him because he was obviously living in an illusionary state with a different impression and image of his wife than what things turned out eventually. But let me say that most of us men, of course, live in fear of our wives.
Please, Mr. Kochhar, let's not trivialize this. No, Mr. Kochhar, first of all, let's not trivialize this. I'm nobody to judge whether he's told us the truth or not. No. But I come to a central point today.
On a more serious note.
Mr. Kochhar,
on a more serious note,
Mr. Kochhar,
I didn't think Peter was trying to mislead the Bombay police.
Well, he was pushing all kinds of inconsistent theories. He was scarcely speaking the truth. He was trying to make himself appear to be completely innocent man who was in the dark. And I can give you 3 substantial reasons. And think about it today, because on the day we asked Peter Mukherjee the questions, there were also a section of the media who said, why are you asking Peter Mukherjee the questions at all? Almost as when the same section of the pseudo-elite at that point of time co-ed said, why are you asking Peter Mukherjee the questions? The question is this, Mr. Dharkar.
Why did Peter Mukherjee give an interview? That is my question.
We went through that in the first interview, why he gave that interview.
I think because at that stage he wanted to bring his side of the story on record.
Why was he? No,
and there were too many conjectures.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kochhar.
And a lot of speculation being made against him.
No, Mr. Kochhar. On the 28th, when he gave me that interview, if you look at the narrative of the interview, he was simply pushing the Rahul Sheena relationship theory. He was pushing one theory through the whole interview, that there is one reason
because
why she was killed.
He must have believed that story to be correct.
Really? And he just said, he told me that it was Peter. Peter told me that Indrani was not happy with Rahul's relationship with Sheena. Peter told me Rahul was not happy with Peter's marriage to Indrani, and he and Indrani believed that Sheena and Rahul may have had a motive to break the relationship. Should we also ask if Peter was trying to push the personal angle? If you look at the interview, I don't know if you saw it, Anil. In the entire interview, Anu, he was simply pushing the personal angle. The one thing which he said an absolute no to was the financial angle. And today we only hear the financial angle being the important angle from the Khad police station.
What did you expect, Arnab? If he was trying to present a defense of himself, why would he not do that?
A defense is different from a distraction.
A defense
is different from a distraction.
Listen, look at why he gave you that interview. He gave that interview which he need not have. There was no compulsion. There's a compulsion to talk to the police, but not to Arnab. So, but the reason he talked to you was because he wanted to present his side of the story. He's obviously going to put the facts which make him look good.
No. Okay, watch it. We see two hands. Anu Ranjan.
I think not himself to look good. It's not the person. Huh?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No,
I'm coming to Mr. Luthra.
I don't think Peter was at that time trying to make himself look good. He was obviously trying to defend the fact that he didn't say Indrani was wrong either. He didn't even say the person in her was wrong. The circumstances is what he was just referring to. But you can't say that he was trying to just defend himself because he wasn't on trial to defend himself.
At that time when Arnab, we can't judge, but he went out there and he spoke. So.
Because the fact that you questioned him wasn't that, are you asking him, are you guilty? You were just asking him, Peter,
but I think
tell us the story as it is.
What Peter possibly could have brought to the table by now in the investigation was the entire financial angle, because there seems to be a financial motive.
What is the financial? Nobody knows, Shailendra. People are talking about finance, they're talking about love, they're talking about lust. They've forgotten that it's this woman, the woman who has this major instinctive thing towards her children. Either when you lose that, either the person is
in
wrong.
A country that is being run by economy, this is a scary scenario.
But
if such an upwardly mobile woman can do such a crime for money and power,
but
imagine what is happening in the country.
I think this is what one has to find out, that as a mother, the only one...
That is being...
I don't see what is the financial angle involved, Arnab, because there was no ancestral wealth involved. Whatever money Indrani and Peter had was self-generated from their own entrepreneurial endeavors.
Mr. Kochar,
there was no money that Sheena Bora was sitting on, no pile of wealth
to prove anything on that
she was sitting on.
We can't prove that.
Which Indrani wanted to say
we can't prove that. We can't prove that. And by the way, from the Khad police station tonight, Peter Mukherjee still
taking 11 days.
Peter Mukherjee still being interrogated. Let's go to the pictures from the Khad police station once, please.
Since we're talking of this finance,
why is it taking 11 days?
I'm asking.
Why wasn't these things done earlier? The question we need to ask.
No, the question I'm asking is that are they more afraid? Are they more afraid of, the murderer coming out, or are they more afraid of all the financial gochas coming out? Is that what we are thinking about?
Well,
now that Indrani should tell them, because she's now admitted that she has done this to her child.
Indrani is not going to admit. She may have
she just admitted to a murder, so obviously everything else follows. There has to be reason for this, no?
But Anu, when you said...
If I may just make a point here.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Luthra.
If I may just make a point, we need to understand, we'll first have to try and see whether there is anything to connect any of the players with the actual incident. The second point is, the motive is an indicator, because this is a case of circumstantial evidence. All these elements have to be taken together. What I'm finding intriguing is, we're talking about a money angle for the last many days, but on each occasion, I find the police have the right to summon the records, to examine issues. This obsession on trying to get some kind of a so-called worthless confession from Indrani may make their job easier. May make it look fancy that they've got something great out of her.
Yeah.
But that's not going to supplant hard evidence.
No,
they need hard evidence to move forward, and my concern is they don't have it.
No.
And my concern is they're not working towards that, and that's a serious problem.
But why are they not working towards it? Is it because of inefficiency, ineptitude, or for some larger reason?
Every day there is a new secret being unfolded.
No, so so Bachi, we are on an interesting point out here. The point we have raised, and I'm happy we've raised it, and I think this will be controversial, but I'll say it anyway. The person who benefits from this confession, which is actually meaningless, vacuous, legally worth nothing, can easily be retracted.
Correct.
and will hold no value unless it is under 164. And let's go back to the panelists on this, please. The person who benefits from this confession is Indrani Mukherjee.
Correct. It's the lawyer who walked into it.
And it is entirely possible that Indrani Mukherjee has been told by her lawyer, and that's why, let's say it openly, I know that her lawyer and others won't like it, but Indrani Mukherjee's lawyer met her yesterday. It is entirely likely, Mr. Luthra, that Indrani Mukherjee's lawyer said, listen, Indrani, you're going to have a tough time in the police station. You're far better off in judicial custody. Just say that I did it and put a confession, and tomorrow we will anyway retract it. It has no value. So that's why we don't know specifically what has she confessed. What does I did it mean? Did she strangulate? Did she hatch the conspiracy, Mr. Luthra? Did someone else strangulate? She's given no details. The police gives us no details. The police knows, Mr. Luthra.
Yes, I don't think any practicing lawyer will tell his client to actually make a confession.
Mr. Kochhar,
notwithstanding the fact that the confession
Mr. Kochhar,
hold good.
Mr. Kochhar, okay. Mr. Kochhar, let's not get technical on this. They may or may not. I'm not even speculating if they have. But I will certainly say that the person who will benefit from making this confession is Indrani Mukherjee herself. They are telling us she has confessed. I'm saying on Newshour tonight, you prove to me what this confession means. What does this confession mean, sir? Mr. Luthra, who does it help?
Worth nothing.
What is the value of this confession? It's not even worth the piece of paper it is written on.
Nothing, and I just want
but it doesn't benefit Indrani in any way.
Mr. Luthra,
I have a different opinion with you on that.
Mr. Luthra,
please. It doesn't harm her. I can just tell you that the confession, if any, even if it is signed by her, is worthless. Even if it's reduced to the case diary, it can't be used for any purpose unless there is some discovery or recovery of an incriminating object. And therefore, my concern is what will an average lawyer or sensible lawyer tell his client? Cooperate to the extent that you don't lead them to any incriminating material. That's what any lawyer will say, so that your period of police custody is reduced. You're in judicial custody where you're in a safer environment. There are 15 days up till which police custody can be taken. You're on day 11 and 4 more days are left. So the idea for any accused is to try and soft pedal it so that you are out of the police custody in judicial custody, where the interrogation is not as effective. So
Mr. Luthra, interesting. Now what Indrani's lawyers will say, in fact, they will use this confession to their advantage. Won't they, Vikram Singh? And they will say, oh, she's confessed. No, one sec. I'll tell you what they'll say. We can almost preempt both. They'll say, oh, she's confessed. Why does she need to be in custody? Let the trial start.
If the legal advice had
let the trial start.
Any consequence,
I disagree with that.
Indrani would have been
without getting any material evidence.
Advantage.
Even after, Vikram Singh,
as Siddharth said, even after the police remand is over, in a matter as sensational as this, no court is going to give Indrani a bail.
Sure.
For a long time.
So but she'll be in judicial custody, not police custody. She'll be in judicial custody, not police custody. The police will not be interrogating her. Rakesh Maria and other police officers will not be interrogating her anymore. Am I correct? Am I correct?
Arnab.
Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Vikram Singh.
Absolutely. The question is not about bail.
No, what's interesting?
Any credibility in what Indrani was saying, she would have gone to a hospital for medical treatment, for advanced treatment of some mysterious ailment. That has not happened. That goes to show that the courts or nobody is convinced about what the stand taken by Indrani, and so much about the legal assistance and advice that she may have got till now. Obviously, it is not cutting ice anywhere.
So that's
secondly.
The
confession, the so-called confession we are debating now. Just a minute. Section 27 of the Evidence Act, leading to recovery of anything. The carcass and body parts have been recovered. The conversation within the car and the electronic evidence between her, Sanjay, and maybe Rai, that is also a matter on record. And there are other things like syringe which were used at the scene of crime. They have already been recovered. Therefore, to say that the confession is absolutely without any substance is not very appropriate and correct. I think even this statement, viewed in the light of Section 27 of Evidence Act, is also earlier.
This confession comes later. It's worthless. The law is clear, Mr. Singh. The confession follows the so-called recovery.
Sir, what we are aware of is the fact is only these. The police will not disclose all their cards. Please don't think that every investigator will disclose all his cards. A part may be disclosed. Of course they have, sir. Of course they have, and they would take pains to conceal them and disclose them at the appropriate time. Otherwise, they will be reduced.
Well, we are learning about a confession, sir. Why should we be learning about the confession if they're concealing their cards? I really want to ask one question of all the panelists. Why is it that the fact of this so-called confession is being selectively brought out in the media?
Exactly.
And this is a matter of concern. What is the purpose behind it?
If you were to go behind the reason, they say it is gathered, it is understood, it is believed. No police spokesman has given a press release to say that this confession has come out.
But Mr. Mayor, no, 1 second, sir. Again, I'll ask a question. And again, you'll say that, oh my God, you're asking questions, let the police do its job. If the police was so efficient, we wouldn't ask the questions, by the way. The most logical things the police must be thinking about today. I say Indrani benefits. If there's one person, Mr. Vikram Singh, understand this clearly as crystal clear tonight, the one person who benefits from the story, rightly stated by Mr. Luthra, selectively leaked, is Indrani herself. Because now she's going to say, I've confessed. Why do you need to hold me in interrogation any longer? Take me to judicial custody. Stop this, stop this daily
not
questioning.
Not judicial custody, sir. Take me before the magistrate for the next stage. 164 of the CRPC.
No, using this. No. There will have to be. No, I'm sorry. The police. No, I'm sorry. I disagree with you. The police. I disagree with you, Mr.
And I would like to know.
No, I disagree with you, sir.
Are you so this confession reached you as a result of your investigative journalism, or did the police actually leak it out?
Mr. Kochar, let me make one thing very clear to you. The police is saying a lot of things over the last 3 or 4 days. Right? The police is saying a lot of things off record. Now, I can ask a counter question to you, Mr. Kochar. My counter question to you will be, rhetorically speaking, that the police has been very happy to do daily news briefings, including briefings by Rakesh Maria every day outside the Khar police station. My question is, if she has not confessed...
Why is he doing
just allow me to complete. It's an interesting point of thought. Yeah. If the police believes all front page papers everywhere today are leading with Indrani has confessed. Indrani has confessed. What confession? What has she confessed to? Nobody knows. But Indrani has confessed. The first thing the police can come and do a press conference saying all the stories are wrong. Indrani has not confessed. Absolutely. The silence of the police, Mr. Kochar, on their own
some pressure off the police.
Pardon me?
Is what you're saying.
But no, not pressure on the police. Not just pressure on the police. Pressure on Indrani. Because Indrani will now say, and Indrani's lawyers will say, but she has confessed. And if she has confessed on the 5th, on the 5th, you have to turn her out of police custody. Whereas the fact is, materially, you have ended up getting nothing.
I continue to have different opinion.
You understand the point, Mr. Kochar?
On the possibility of Indrani's lawyers asking her to confess. And I agree with Vikram Singh that...
No, but Indrani's lawyers are already saying... Indrani's lawyers are already saying... Sir, one second.
Seems to be so overwhelming.
Sir, one second.
That I think that by itself, eventually, should be enough to nail down the main accused in this case.
Mr. Kochar, please understand this. She is confessed to something that she was long suspected of doing. What is the motive behind her actions? Do we know? We don't. What explains the fact that she roped in her second husband, Sanjeev Khanna, for the job? Do we know? We don't know. What is it that the Mumbai police has been able to establish as the motive till now? Do we know?
As far as
do we know, sir? Do we know, Mr. Kochar? We don't know.
The good news is that the Supreme Court judgments are very clear,
sir,
that in matters where circumstantial evidence is overwhelming,
sir, please,
even if a motive is not established,
sir,
by the police or by the investigating agency.
Can anyone tell me one reason? Sir, can anyone tell me one reason? What was the attempt to conceal the motive all this while? Why did it take the Mumbai police 10 days to make Indrani confess?
Evidence case. Without that, circumstances will not survive alone.
So basically,
you need motive and the circumstantial evidence, and that makes the
link. They can't hang her upside down and flog her till she confesses. And as Siddharth earlier said, every accused has a right of silence. And she may well have chosen
Kochar, again you are going technical.
During the entire period.
Again you are going no sir. Again you are going technical. All I'm saying is this whole story that Indrani has confessed. What is the proof of it that she has confessed? Right? B, if she has not confessed, then why don't you come out and tell us? 3, if she has confessed, her lawyers will now use this to say, why do you need to interrogate her, take her out of jail, start the trial? and the police will have to do that. This takes the pressure of both the police and Indrani. No, sorry. This takes the pressure of both the police and Indrani by spreading the story that she's confessed.
It's not going to work out like that.
The fourth is, Arnab, and what if it's... And what if
Arnab, let's move away from
that's an
technical to practical. Practically, she will not be able to save herself from the remaining 4 days of custody just because she's made this confession, because
so it's not
the
about 4 days.
police will still be successful.
It's not about 4 days.
No, Rohit.
No, what's it? Yes, Siddharth.
The demand norms are that if a person confesses, you should send them to judicial custody. You should, the moment if a person does so, gives the confession, you should send them to judicial custody because they're not required for any purpose. The whole argument at the stage of remand is going to be, why should she be kept in police custody?
The case is so complex.
Absolutely, but not from her.
Because this story has gone everywhere across the Indian media that the Mumbai police has been able to extract, a confession out of Indrani. Why? We have just proven on the News Hour tonight that confession, which is amorphous itself, of which there is no official confirmation, even if true, amounts to nothing. Now, on practical questions, there are Peter, Indrani, Sanjeev Khanna and Shyam Rai questioned simultaneously today in 4 rooms. 4 interrogators, 4 rooms, not brought face to face. Did their versions match? Did Indrani...
brought to face to face yesterday.
No, Peter and Indrani not face to face even once till now. No, I can assure they have not.
Now the question is...
Where do you have the information that Peter and Indrani have been brought face to face?
Are you privy to everything that's happening in the police station?
Sir.
Are you? You're not. You go by what the police will tell you.
Certainly not. What makes you feel so?
You do not know
Absolutely
what is happening
not.
in the police station?
I'm sorry, but you're talking on Times Now. We don't go by what the police tells us. The police has not known half the things that we've revealed.
You do not know if they have found the motive or not.
No, certainly they've not revealed the motive.
You do not know if they have found the money trail or not.
They said they had found the motive on 27th. What are you saying, sir?
They are trying to find it. It's more complex than they imagined. It's obvious. It's much more complex.
Exactly, that's the point. So why did you conclude a motive on the 27th?
My question
is, why did you conclude a motive on the 27th?
Why did the police, in fact, go to the media at all? Why didn't they conduct this? No, it is a very central point. Why didn't they?
I think the police.
Because can I tell you one thing? Can I tell you why? Can I tell you why? Can I tell you why, sir? There's a simple answer for that. Because we are not North Korea. We're a democracy, information will come out. So you can't say, oh, behind these great iron walls, let us keep the suspects together and let us not reveal anything to the media. It will come out.
Investigation can be carried out in private. There is no need for the police to feed the media.
Those times have gone. To be honest, those times have gone. I'm not saying the cops are doing a tremendous job, possibly, and they're keeping it quiet. They should. But hang on, the media is fully wired up. The media is engaged with the entire country. So there are 2 kind of trials taking place. One is an investigation that the cops are doing, but Arnab has got a point. The police does walk out on their own whims and fancy and gives a statement to the media. And that's when they engage the media full on. And this media is investigative today. You know that. I'm not talking about just Arnab's channel. But the whole media is investigative. They're in the case itself. So this is an issue. So either the police are doing a great job. No discussion. Either the police engages them on a regular basis or doesn't engage them.
You're saying the media is investigating. Has the media found the money?
Investigative.
Has the media found the money?
Media found the people.
Has the media found the money?
We found the people. It's all just a start.
Anil, here I will come in.
I think the show started with the fact that people on the channel said, on the panel said, that the media has actually contributed to the case.
Yes,
they actually helped.
No one is denying that at all.
What you're saying is right. According to her lawyer, Mahesh Jethmalani said that he's telling the police that if she's confessed, then why wait, start the trial right now?
You see,
so that's exactly what it's all about.
Arnab's point was that the police actually steps out to make statements when they feel like it, but the entire nation, this is really one of the biggest stories that India has ever seen. So the issue is that there is a gap in consistency of reporting.
No. Let's not get carried away by this, right? It's not certainly by any stretch the biggest story that India has ever seen. If this is the biggest story that India has ever seen, I'm very sorry for India. I'm very sorry for India.
You will have to see the exposure and the rating for this story. No, it's not about how you feel. It's about the exposure. Are you serious?
No, but are you serious?
I mean,
are you serious?
You will have to check the statistics right now when you leave the studio to really know what's happening.
Okay, but now, one second. Don't repeat. One second. Bachi, don't say. Are you serious so many times that somebody else used
more burning issues?
1 second.
No. Biggest is also there are a lot of crime stories which have been done with various people, but a mother-daughter actually doing this is what's gotten everybody.
So you're
going into that by the social elite being bothered.
Pseudo-elite.
Are you bothered by this? Now that in Manipur there is a fire, people have died.
Yeah, so
right?
you and I, you don't have to tell us that, Mr. No. Now the point here is this. The point here is this. Anil, you can't pass value judgments on that.
Of course I can.
No, you can't.
You pass value judgments.
No, but what you don't know, you shouldn't speak about.
No, we are both passing value judgments.
But honestly,
Anil, I'll be polite to you. Now I'll tell you something.
I'm also very polite.
I'm being polite to you. Now the point here is this, Anil, and you've been part of the discussion as well, as far as Indrani. So, let's not be hypocrites on this story. The fact here is this. There is a larger story to be told, and this story makes the pseudo-elite extremely uncomfortable. Why? Because the investigation by the media in the Arushi case destroys, shakes from the foundation the plugged theory that the domestic help killed Arushi. Because the investigation by the independent media destroys the attempt by one section supported by the pseudo-elite that Sunanda Pushkar just committed suicide. Because the investigation by the media also therefore with great alacrity and with fine investigative journalism destroys the attempts by one section including those backed by the police to say that Indrani carried out what is quote-unquote an honor killing in which the case was not complicated. Now my submission is that had it not been for the intrepid work by the media in all these three cases, these cases would have concluded differently and been closed differently.
That's a state of democracy.
And by the way, the question which you asked seems to be, why did Peter give you an interview? The police should not have spoken to the media at all. To that, a simple answer, Anil, and ask anyone outside the show tonight. They will tell you because we are a democracy and we are not North Korea yet. Now let's get Rohit Kochhar on the debate. Rohit Kochhar, I will stay on the focused on the story. Rohit Kochhar.
Why are you going away from
Rohit Kochhar wanted to say something.
Why are you going away from
because I'm staying on the subject. Rohit Kochhar. Siddharth Luthra is making a point.
I wanted to say, Arnav.
Yeah, go ahead.
As a concluding comment.
One thing I want to say.
As a concluding comment, as a balancing one. Respecting sentiments on both sides, I wanted to say that I once again compliment you on the investigative journalism that you have demonstrated and manifested, including that of your colleagues on your channel. However, I also agree with Vikram Singh that we should be fair to the Mumbai police. This is a very complex case with many intricacies involved.
Right.
It's not a matter which we can hold against them for not cracking or solving within a period of 10 days.
Yeah.
So let's be patient and the truth will unravel.
I'm pretty sure that it will. Yes, please, go ahead. Yeah, please. Yeah, Siddharth.
Arnav, I just want to say, this is like any other death case where a violent death has possibly taken place. And the investigation has to be scientific, it has to be comprehensive, it has to be logical. To say that it's very complicated or very arcane, that's not so. Otherwise, you would not have got to the father, you would have not got to the other people.
Agreed.
The fact is, rather than spending their time disclosing tidbits of information, I think the concentration and the focus of any investigating agency should be to send their teams out, not only to interrogate people, but to get the forensic, the documentary and the other evidence in place. Make sure that they get the DNA fast, make sure they get the forensic reports fast, so we have a complete picture.
Yeah.
And that's a serious concern I believe people tend to get sidetracked during investigation.
On that I agree, because those tidbits of information which are being happily given off record by the police don't really amount to the material evidence required to back a confession. It's an interesting point. I thank you all very much for joining me on debate number 1 on the News Hour tonight.